Okay, I'm going to do a fast fly setup. I'm not going to set up my tent. I'm just going to put the footprint down and the rain fly. So we'll start with the footprint. I'm going to want my head here and my feet there. The wind's coming this way. So the vestibule on the left side, I'll peg down. And the vestibule on this side, I will not. I'll open up the tent. So the wind will be blocked from that side. Now, rather than pegging down, I'm going to be using rocks. There's no shortage of half-decent sized rocks in the desert, at least where I am. Fairly fresh camel poop around. I've already got the paracord tied to the anchor points on the, actually everywhere on the footprint and on the fly. Although it's called fast fly, it's actually, when you only set it up this way, it's actually slower than setting up the tent with the fly over it, just because of the way you have to anchor it down. Okay, so that's the footprint. The anchor points are color coded. Gray is the head side. Orange is the foot side. And that's consistent right through the full tent. Next is the poles. The thing about the fast fly setup is if it was raining and you didn't want your tent to get wet, you would do what I'm doing. And then once you're done with that, you would set up the tent sort of from the inside, or from underneath, I guess you could say. So you would get wet until you get the rain fly up and you can get under it, but your tent and the floor of the tent and the stuff that's going to go inside would stay dry. Now again, this is color coded. Orange for the feet. In case I haven't mentioned it, which I haven't, this is a big Agnes copper spur. HV for high volume, UL for ultralight. This is a 2-person tent. But I would consider it a little small for 2 people. Great for 1 person. Okay. So that just fits conveniently in the grommets. See, orange on orange. part's a little bit tricky, especially if there's a bit of a wind. This is actually the tent, which I'm not going to use. Bugs aren't a problem right now. If there was bugs, I would just set up the tent without the rain fly. First thing is to figure out the color coding. One anchor point. Here's the other one. This. So, I'll do the head anchor point first. This is not very easy this is a light wind. Tied together. Hey. Next I'll put the cross beam in. So that will go above. The pole's already in place and there's a couple slots for it to fit in, one on each side. One right here where my hand is. The other side. Then there's just some Velcro 1, 2, 1, 2 that will connect to the poles. Now if you had the tent set up and you were setting this up over the tent, you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't Velcro. This is the leeward side, out of the wind. So I'm going to open up the vestibule. These aren't the easiest things to get done up, especially if they don't slip out of your hand. I think there's just a knack to them. Okay, open the guy lines. Okay, these two can go onto one rock. Actually, that rock's a bit too big. Two guy lines at the top can go onto one rock. Sure you don't lose the bag. With the wind, things can blow away quite easily. And I just do the same on the other side. I'll do the same on this side. So the two side ones, guy lines, will go on one rock. They'll share one rock. Center one, I'll put on a big rock. And I'll open up the vent. And the windward side, close the vestibule, and I'll guy it down on this rock. Now this side I want to be pretty secure, so I've got a big rock. Little velcros, enclosures of the vestibule. This rock has a little fossil of a shell in it, like a little clam shell. Just a tiny one. So let's take a look. So this big rock is a piece of paracord that ties off to both sides of the vestibule door. Okay, and this is an anchor point for the side, and you see these two anchor points, 1, 2, they go down and they connect to that one rock there, and that anchor point there connects to this big rock. This is another corner. Vestibule is open on the leeward side. Here's another corner. And again, we've got 1, 2 connected to one rock down there. And then the one in the center connected to this rock. And this is the corner. Bedclothes. Bedclothes, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, and everything else. Now, I got a puffy. I didn't have one last week, and I kind of could have used one when I was sleeping. My Nemo Tensor sleeping pad. This is the largest size available, and it takes about 45 breaths. Here we go. Now that's pretty well as hard as you can get this pad. Now quite often what I find is once I'm in bed it's a little bit too hard, so what I'll do is I'll take some of the air out. It's always better to start with too much air where you can let a little bit out than if you're in bed and you want to try to inflate it. It's a real pain in the butt. So that's there. Next I've got my sleeping bag. This is good to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is about 6 Celsius. Now I consider this a summer type sleeping bag. Okay. Pillow bag. So I've got this little, I call this an extra pillow. I just use it when I'm reading. This is for my head, but it's my secondary pillow for my head. I forgot the main pillow is here. I call this a base pillow. One side is slippery and one side is kind of velvety. The velvety side I put down it'll slip less. So there's that. There's this. I got my little pillow. And then I got an inflatable which I put under my right knee. Because I've had a ligament reconstruction and I like to have my knee slightly bent and elevated. So yes, I do travel with 4 pillows, but they're all nice and light. Now, I've got extra clothes in here. My puffy is there. I'll use this as my bag, so anything I need to put away. I'll put that there. Put that there for now. Okay, let's take a look at things. I've got a little plastic ground sheet I'll put right there, just to stop things from getting dusty and stuff. Come on. Anyway, once again, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you again, take care. Yeah, say hi to the camera, eh, princess? You need a bath, princess.